my 3 biggest tips to getting in shape this summer. I'm seeing a lot of people out running. I'm seeing a lot of people out doing their workouts, doing their thing, pushing themselves. And I just want to make sure that everybody has some good tips to get the best results possible and really not only make it last for the summer, but make it last for a lifetime. So let's go right into it. Let's talk about these 3 tips. Tip number 1 is going to be don't work out till complete exhaustion. Second one is not to put the calories too low. And third is to find a flexible plan. Now, if that's enough for you, thanks for tuning in. But for those of you that want more information, that want to make sure you're like really getting the most bang for your buck, listen up close. So the first one is don't work out to exhaustion. This one comes from all the people that I see running, especially, that don't really have a set goal in mind. There's no like mileage that they're going to start themselves out on and then progress into. It's like, oh, how long are you going for? And they're like, till I get tired. That's not a good idea. I'm just telling you from experience with people I've trained with. I've never had the urge to do that, so I can't say from... Actually, no, I take that back. In high school, I definitely did 1 or 2 runs where I couldn't feel my calves for 2-3 weeks. And that was all the motivation I needed to smarten up and do it better. So that's really the problem with all this, is the fact that when your goal is just exhaustion, whether that be in running, whether that be in a fitness class or lifting weights, like anything with the goal of exhaustion in mind is just going to break you down. It's going to lead to early burnout, because when you work out to exhaustion, your body is exhausted. Like, it's not going to be firing on all cylinders. It's going to want to put you in bed on the couch, sitting around doing nothing and telling you like, hey, we need to recover. Can't really do much now. Can't sit down on the toilet without having to go really, really slow. Can't walk up the steps without gripping to the railing for dear life. Okay, you don't want to do that, because when you overshoot it like that, you're not able to build up any consistency. It's all these like workouts that are complete balls to the wall, all out, and you only get like 1 a week if you're lucky. And then that's one high quality workout. If you get more in, more times than not, they're half-assed. They're not as far as you did the first time. They're not as heavy of weights that you used earlier in the week. It's just you're going just to go. You're not making progress. But progress is what's going to drive the adaptations that a lot of people are aiming for, like improving body composition, getting stronger, gaining energy. That comes from progress. That doesn't come from exhaustion over and over and over again. So the best thing that you can do is find a plan that, one, has been written by an expert, somebody like a professional that knows about periodization, that knows about like ramping it up slowly over time. So for anybody that wants to, like, for example, wants to get into running, I highly recommend getting the Couch to 5K app, because that right there is a very well done program. I've checked it out and it's really good. Let's say or you want to use weights instead. If you're going to do that, go to the Fit40 group, the Facebook group in the show notes for the free workouts in there. Those are great. And while I say in that workout, like, you want to get as many rounds in as possible, you want to get as many rounds in as possible while still leaving a little something in the tank. You don't want to go to complete exhaustion. You want to go to the point where it's like, I feel better at the end than I did compared to before I started. That's really the goal of all of this. Whatever method you choose, you should feel better when you're done. It's not like the only people that should feel like absolute death that really that want to push it to that level. The only people that need to are competitive athletes. That's it. For the average person that wants to get a little leaner, get a little stronger, feel better, you don't need to go to exhaustion. So I think I've beaten that to a pulp. On to the next one. Don't set the calories too low. When you set the calories too low, it just makes the process harder. It doesn't make it more effective. You don't lose more fat than you otherwise would have. You just feel like garbage the entire time. And when you feel like garbage, you have garbage workouts. When you feel like garbage, you don't move around as much during the day. So you're missing out on burned calories that you otherwise would have burned. You miss out on things like elevated NEAT, which is non-exercise activity thermogenesis. I had to think about that one. Non-exercise activity thermogenesis. So things like blinking your eyes, tapping your foot, little twitches here and there. Your body actually stops doing them at as frequent of a rate because it helps conserve energy. Because if you go super low, your body's going to know, hey, there's not a lot coming in. We got to save elsewhere. So I don't know. Maybe it's just me. I would rather add in some calories and still do that activity because you're burning the exact same amount of fat in either scenario. Pick the one that feels better, because not only that, when you feel better and you don't feel like a zombie, your hormonal profile will probably be in a much better place than if you shot those calories down super duper low. When your body feels like shit, your hormones usually are not in a good place. That's just a fact. So picking a calorie limit that fuels your workouts, doesn't leave you feeling like a zombie, is the way to go. And for anybody wondering, how do I do that? What should I set them at? You could do either the TDEE calculator, which I'll put in the show notes. I gotta write these down here. TDEE calculator. Or if you don't want to get super duper nitty gritty, because when it comes to calories, it's really just a guesstimate and then adjusting from there. If you want something that's a little easier, you just take whatever weight it is that you want to get to, your goal weight, and times it by 10 to 12. So if you're a very active person, if you're on your feet a lot, let's say you're like a healthcare worker, like a nurse or something, or I don't know, somebody who's on their feet all the time, like a trainer, that would be a case to multiply by 12, because that would give you more calories, because you're going to need more than somebody that's sitting down at a desk. Now, if you are that person that is sitting down at a desk most of the day, not getting a whole lot of walks in or anything like that, then you would multiply by 10. And if you're unsure and you're kind of like in that middle area, multiply by 11. And then what that's going to do is that's going to give you a starting point. So if you eat those calories, you get on a good workout regimen, and you see yourself losing weight, then boom, we've hit the nail on the head. Okay. If for some reason your body is not change, or the body weight is not changing and it's not moving at all, that still could be a good thing, because if your clothes are fitting better, if you feel like you have more energy, if you feel that like you feel lighter, that is probably a sign that you're building muscle mass and losing fat at the same rate, which is a perfect scenario. That's like hitting the nail on the head, which a lot of people don't really get, because they're like, oh, if I'm not losing weight, it's not working. When it's like, no, that's perfect, because you're at that cap for how many calories you can eat and still make progress. Now, if you're gaining weight, then obviously it's too much. But before dropping your calories lower and lower and lower, if you're gaining weight, you're probably better off doing a quick audit of how you're actually counting the calories, because more times than not, it's user error. It's mixing up your weights when it comes to raw food versus cooked food. It can be using a scale and being precise rather than using cups or eyeballing it, because if you're going by cups and really just guesstimating, there's no way of knowing. And as humans, we're always going to eat more than we think we are. It's just a fact. They've studied people on this. We eat more than we think. As humans, we suck at tracking calories. But you learn. You get better at as you go through it. And this is all stuff that has to be learned. It's a part of the process, but nobody wants to do that part, and they want their results now. So this patience also ties into this tip here. So again, multiply your goal weight by 10 to 12, or use the TDEE calculator, and then be super duper anal on how you enter food in for the first week, just to make sure that everything's right and you have a real good grasp at what it actually looks like when it comes to eating the right amount of calories. And then last but not least is finding a plan that's flexible. If you're going at this with a super strict meal plan, you are trying to work out 7 days a week, two times a day, and this plan pretty much leaves no room for going out with friends, for going on vacation or anything like that, and you're that person that's all in or all out, you can guarantee that you're going to fall off before the end of summer. And it's going to happen fast, because this time of year, stuff just pops up. Like friends will text you out of nowhere and be like, hey, want to come to a barbecue at my house this weekend or something like that? And then what are you going to do if you're on a super strict meal plan? Sorry, I can't go. Or you go there and you don't just have like a plate full. You have 5 plates, you have 10 beers, you're hungover as hell the next day, and you're like, screw this plan, I'm done. Okay, so instead of that, find a plan that allows you to live your life and make progress at the same time. So a plan that, say you're at that barbecue, having something like the 1 plate rule where you're allowed to have whatever the hell you want, just keep it to 1 plate. So you're controlling for portions, but you're not limiting yourself to what you're eating necessarily. And you can still be a part of the group. You can still not be that weird person on the diet in the group and have to face all that bullshit with friends and family saying, oh, you're making me feel bad. Oh, should I be eating this? Like, no, nobody wants to be that person. No one wants that attention. So something like that can help a ton. When you're on vacation, like having like little vacation workouts. So say you don't have gym access. That doesn't mean that you should all of a sudden just say, screw it, I'm not working out the entire week. And then you overeat the entire week. Then you drink the entire week and you feel like a complete sloth when you get home, which makes starting back up that much harder. Instead of that, maybe having like a 20 or 30 minute body weight workout to do in the morning before everybody wakes up, or middle of the day in between, like when you're going down to the beach or whatever. Or with bands, like bands are very, very easy to bring with you anywhere that you go. So having a band workout can help tremendously. And it's not so much about getting the perfect workout and really like sticking to the like core plan. It's about keeping the habit of staying active and staying fit. And not only that, let's say you are on vacation. It allows you to enjoy your vacation more. Because how many times, I know I'm guilty of this too, when you're on vacation and you eat all the foods that you're craving, like your family. I know my family is bad with this. We load up on snacks, all the chips, all the little bites, the ice cream, everything. And it's just staring you in the face and you're just munching on it all day. And slowly you're getting bloated. You feel like crap and it has nowhere to go. So getting those micro workouts in, allowing you to sweat a little bit, getting things moving makes you feel better when you're like on vacation or you're out like on a work trip or something like that. It keeps things flowing. It keeps things moving. You feel better and you get to enjoy the experience that much more. So again, flexibility is king when it comes to not only longevity and doing this for a long time, but just like keeping you going and getting you started. Flexibility pays off big time. So to recap, for everybody that's been so invested in this conversation and is really trying to take it all in, don't worry. I'll wrap it all up in a nice little package to send you off with. This is your goodie bag. Okay, we got number 1, don't work out to exhaustion. Okay, always have a good plan, either from an expert or a professional, something like that, to slowly work your way into fitness instead of going balls to the wall and burning out quick. Second is don't cut the calories too low. Okay, go on that TDEE calculator or multiply your goal weight by 10 to 12, and then that'll be a good starting point for you. Then find a flexible plan. Okay, don't go crazy with a meal plan and expecting to go all in when you haven't worked out in forever and expecting yourself to do 7 days a week, eating nothing but raw fruits and veggies and meat, whatever. Find one that works in your life. Find one that has the least amount of resistance and you'll get the best bang for your buck.